Hello, my love, and welcome back to the Energy Expansion Podcast. I am feeling incredibly fired up. This is one of the podcast episodes where the women inside of Energy Expansion Academy are here live and in real time. And I'm going to let you in on this. I woke up and I was honestly in kind of a funky mood. And the good news is I had a few hours between waking up to being here with all of you, the women inside of EEA, as well as you listening now. And since then, my energy has shifted tremendously. And a lot of that is thanks to some of what we're going to be talking about today. So, when this podcast episode goes live for you and the rest of the world to listen to, it's going to be the first Wednesday of March. And me being the lover of all things energy, just saying the word March gets me really excited. And for the last 3 years, I'm trying to think back, because some of this connects back to when my son, my youngest of my 3 kids, so he'll actually be 4 in March. He turns 4 on March 9th, which is really exciting. But I was struggling with a bit of postpartum depression. So he was born in March of 2022, and I was in newborn bliss for 8 or 9 months. So for most of that year. And then when 2023 was rolling around, something inside of me happened. Something inside of my body, my mind, my spirit, my energy field. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I had never in my entire life felt more uncomfortable in my own skin. It wasn't like how I looked in the mirror or a weight thing. There's like postpartum body changes. It was like this is so extreme, but this is how it wants to come through. Like I couldn't stand being me. I remember feeling like ants were crawling all over my body and I wanted to crawl out of my own skin. And again, it wasn't an appearance thing. It was like, get me out of this life experience. I would trade places with anybody in that moment, which sounds, oh my goodness, it sounds so hard to admit that out loud. But if you have ever been in a postpartum season and maybe you've never even had a baby, but you've had a season of life like that, then you can probably relate. And the reason I get excited about March is because for me, March is all about momentum. I don't think I said that yet. This is a really big deal. And so for the last 3 years, March and the energy of momentum, we're going to talk about the energy of momentum quite a bit today. Those two things go hand in hand. So I was just less than a year postpartum. I had intentionally pulled back energy from my business and knew that unless I wanted to go get a 9-to-5 job, if I wanted my business to work, I was going to have to work. I was going to have to get back on the horse, if you will, make it happen. And it's really hard to do that when you're feeling the way that I was feeling. And so I remember, I think it was like January, end of January, early February of 2023. Gosh, so now 3 years ago. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, if I am going to do this, if I am going to build, I knew I needed momentum. I knew that that was what I was needing. If I'm going to build momentum in my business, I asked myself a question that I had never given myself permission to ask as like a high performer, high achiever, super ambitious, doing the absolute most. The question I asked was, how can I do the absolute least and get the best results? Like I had never allowed myself to even fathom what it would look like to do the least, the bare minimum. I am not a bare minimum kind of gal. Actually, I want to say I am now. I for the longest time talked about wanting to learn how to work smarter and not harder. Hi, working smarter means doing the least sometimes, doing the bare minimum, not having all of the bells and whistles and all the fluff and checking off things off your to-do list just to do them. And that was what I was really good at. And so I created this very simple formula for myself that applied to mostly my business, but also the foundations of it were my life. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But this feels really exciting again, because this is the first podcast episode of March, and it's March 2026. And we're in this very cool, this really awesome, energetic window. One of our very first podcast episodes of this year had to do with the 3 energetic New Year portals. It was the traditional, like January 1st, it is a new calendar year. We're shifting from the year of the 9 to a year of the 1, right? And then if you remember, the New Year portal number 2 was February 17th. That's the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year, where we shifted from the year of the wood snake into the fire horse. Hello, we are here right now. And then the third one is now just a few weeks away. It is the spring equinox, which this year is on Friday, March 20th. And so I love the idea of us being together right now, right at the midsection of these 2 New Year portals, February 17th and March 20th. We're like literally smack dab in the middle of them. And then I'm not a astrologer, but the energy that all of this carries really fascinates me. And if you are like me and your social media feeds have all of this cool astrological and energetic stuff and spiritual stuff, that's basically all I see anytime I open up my social media. It's really all I want to see. I'm loving the connection that we have between March and momentum and the year of the fire horse, because there are a few words. Again, if you're seeing the same posts I'm seeing, I've been seeing the word momentum over and over and over again. When you picture this beautiful, powerful, majestic thing known as a horse, the way that it moves, the way that it builds momentum. So we're in an energy right now that supports, quite literally supports, what it means to create energetic momentum, what it means for you to be visible. And I say what it means for you because it's going to look different from person to person, from me to you, from my business to how you choose to show up in your personal or professional life. So we've got momentum, we've got visibility, we've got power, we've got big, bold, aligned action. And so those are some of the things that I'm feeling really excited about. And I'm sharing all of this with you because this is a really beautiful time for you to get clear on where do you desire to focus, to harness, to invest your time and your energy. And so this goes back to momentum, our DKC offering. If you are not familiar with this, and if you've been in my world for a while, I think we have over 80 people who have purchased this the last couple of years. So there's a really good chance that you already gone through it. This is a great time to revisit momentum. And if this is new to you, this is a really great time to join us. Momentum is a self-paced experience, but it is designed to be a 4-week guided activations every day, Monday through Friday. You're getting email accountability prompts. You have lifetime access to our student portal. And one of the things that I'm keeping myself accountable for right now is going live every day. For the first time ever, I'm also including our Go Live 10-day visibility accelerator. So it ends up being, I was doing the math on it this morning when I was like putting the finishing touches on all of this. It's over $400 of coaching programs. And if you want to buy it this March and you want to play along with it and start at any point in time, maybe you want to join me and my people right now. Maybe you want to grab it right now and start it on or after the spring equinox. You get all of it for $88, which is pretty insane. And so the invitation that I have for you is to join me. Join me in this excitement and my belief in what's possible for us when we intentionally create momentum in the areas of life that matter most to us. And perhaps you're like, you know what? I think I just want to do this on my own, Dani. I love that for you. Choose an area of life. What would it look like for you to show up every day doing something that matters most to you? And the thing that I love about the way that I initially created this momentum experience is you got to remember, I was just barely like creeping up to 1 year postpartum with 3 kids, needing to ramp my business back up. I did not have hours every day to focus on this. And so I was able to create momentum for myself and also create an experience for the people in my world who said yes, who wanted to play along in a way that took very little time. Very little time. Okay. So the premise, I'm going to just like give you the momentum formula right now. I'm going to tell it to you. It's 3 S's. If you couldn't tell already, I love alliteration, which is why March is all about momentum. And the momentum formula is show up, serve, and sell. Those were the 3 things where I was like, if I do this every day, and show up is twofold. Show up is how are you showing up for you first and foremost? Because if you are not showing up for you, if you are not taking care of yourself, you cannot effectively show up for anyone or anything else. And so it all starts with show up. Serve can take on lots of different forms. If you're a business owner, how can you love on your current clients or maybe the people in your community, whether it's an in-person community or somewhere virtually where you show up? And then sell is pretty much self-explanatory. But also what's really interesting is there have been dozens of women who don't have existing businesses yet, who are in what I would call the dreamer phase of their business, who maybe didn't even have anything specific to sell, who went through momentum and had clarity around all of this. And so I just wanted to give you a quick gist of that for anyone who's like, I want to take this and I want to do it on my own. I want to be really generous. I want to give you as much as I can. But if you're like, ooh, tell me, what are the different ways that I can be showing up for myself and or for my audience? What does serve mean? Like, take me into that a little bit more, Dani. There's an entire workbook that you get access to with pages and pages of sample show up, serve, and sell recipes and how you could weave this in and what it could look like based on what matters most to you. So a few of the things that I'm focused on right now, I shared this with the women inside of Energy Expansion Academy earlier this week, where I was inviting them, as at the time of this live recording, we're in the last 2 days of February. And so when we kicked off this week together, I said, March starts in 1 week. The time of you hearing this, it is here. March is here. We're a few days into it. But I invited the women inside of EEA to decide, like, is there something I want to commit to? And I not so jokingly admitted that I will not be committing to anything new in March. And as I was preparing for today's podcast episode, I'll tell you why, because I'm already committed to all the things. So right now I am on day 5 of a go live visibility challenge that I am taking myself through called 39 to 39. 39 to 39 is 39 videos leading up to my 39th birthday. I'm on day 5 of that. I'm on day 9 of Lent. Lent is a really beautiful symbolic season that starts on Ash Wednesday leading up to Holy Week. And the idea behind Lent is that you give up something so that you can spend time with God, with Jesus, with Creator. And I'm giving up, well, I did give up. I'm on day 9 of giving up true crime content. And it has been, you guys, I'm embarrassed. It has been so hard. I don't know if you would have ever guessed this about me, but I love true crime content. It started, I blame it on my mom. Because when I was little, all my mom watched and still does watch is like Dateline in 2020. It's so bad. It's so bad for your mind. I call it mind poison, but I don't engage in a whole lot of like watching TV. However, I was spending a lot of time listening to true crime podcasts, watching true crime things, documentaries. And if I couldn't find a good documentary during my lunch break, I would find like a 20-minute true crime video on YouTube, like every single day. And I was thinking to myself when Lent rolled around, I can't believe I can't believe that I'm admitting this addiction that I have. I don't think anyone knows this about me except for my husband. I don't even think my kids realize this. So I'm giving up true crime content. My kids are not forced to do anything. I was gonna say that they don't want to do. They are forced to brush their teeth and to take showers and to eat vegetables. But like anything in the realm of spirituality or religion, but my kids are pretty interested in those things, which makes me really excited. And so when I invited my kids to Ash Wednesday with me and explained what Lent was, I got one out of three. It was my 10-year-old daughter. She was so into it. And she goes, I want to give up something. So she has the sweet tooth, the insatiable sweet tooth. So she was giving up treats. I love this for her, Monday through Friday. So she is pumped. She's pumped because this weekend she's going to open up herself a box of Girl Scout cookies. She can't wait. I need to go find some for her because we don't have any more, but I promised her I'd get them for her. My oldest daughter is giving up her iPad Monday through Friday. I love that for her. And then River also said that he was giving up his iPad, but on day 3, he asked for it. And I said, remember, you gave it up for Jesus. And he goes, oh yeah, about that. I talked to Jesus and Jesus said I could have my iPad. He's done with Lent. That lasted 3 days. So I'm on day 5 of my 39 to 39, day 9 of no true crime. And I've got a whole lot of days left, like 31 days left of that. I'm on day 11 of this practice called morning pages, which I talked about a little bit last week on our podcast episode. It stems from The Artist's Way. All right, love, real quick pause because I have to tell you about something that is truly life-changing. If you've been in my world for any amount of time, then there is a 99.9% chance that you have heard me talk about Energy Expansion Academy, which is my signature group coaching program where I teach the exact tools, rituals, mindset shifts that helped me create a life that goes beyond my wildest dreams and has transformed the lives of hundreds of women that I've had the honor of serving. And for the first time ever, it is now available as a self-paced experience. That means you get to move through this powerful transformation on your own terms, in your own timing, and in full alignment with your life. This is for the woman who's ready to shift her energy, elevate her mindset, and finally become the most confident, fulfilled, and successful version of herself. Without the hustle, without the overwhelm, and without the second guessing. If you've been feeling the nudge to join us inside of EEA, then this, my love, is your sign. You'll find the link in the show notes or just DM me EEA on Instagram and I'll personally send it your way. Now, let's get back to the episode that you came for. It's a book. Check it out if you want to. And day 16 of the Vitality Revival with the Vitality Maestro, Michael Sophia. So that is why, in case anyone's curious about why I'm not starting anything new in March, is because I've already started too many things and I'm going to rock these 4 things. But if you're feeling inspired by any of this, something you want to be a yes to, something that maybe you want to do a fast from. Part of Lent is to abstain or fast from things that we use to distract ourselves. And boy, am I getting a real life masterclass on all of the ways that I used true crime to distract myself because now it's just not there. And yeah, it's been an interesting experience. And so momentum can be one of the things that supports you in deciding what that is going to look like for you. And one of the many reasons why I feel like this is such a big deal, I was actually pulling all of these different statistics. I love a good statistic. I love things rooted in science. I'm going to rattle off a few of these for you. But before I do, this was reminding me, yesterday, I saw this one image floating around on the social medias. I saw this same image like 3 or 4 different times. So I was like, okay, there's something to this. And I wanted to share it with you today because it's speaking to this exact conversation and why a journey like momentum, the journey of momentum is all about doing things every day that are supportive and that are going to move the needle forward in the direction that you want to go. This applies to your personal life as well as to your professional life. But here's what it says. It says, the future belongs to the consistent. The future belongs to the consistent, not to the talented, not to the lucky, but to the ones who show up. even when it's hard. Effort never betrays you. I thought that that was so good. I thought that that was so good. The future belongs to the consistent. And then it got me curious. I was like, okay, I believe that. I believe the essence of that. I like that. And I wonder if there's any real science behind consistency. The other thing that came up was this idea of the compound effect. Darren Hardy. Oh, did I remember that correctly? Many, many years ago, I read a book called The Compound Effect, and I'm 99% sure the author of it is Darren Hardy, and it was fascinating. It's all about consistency and the compound benefit and how the actions and the choices and the habits, especially the really good ones, this also applies for the not so good ones, but we're here talking about the good beneficial ones, how the energy of that builds exponentially. And so I started going down the rabbit hole of scientific studies around consistency, the compound effect, and the energetics of momentum. So let me share a couple of these things with you. One mantra that I took on probably almost exactly a year ago, the beginning of 2025, was focusing on, can I improve by just 1%? 1%. 1% better, 1% stronger, 1% different, 1% closer. And that was honestly a little edgy for me, again, because I have these patterns, which are things I'm working through, things I'm working on, because a lot of these patterns and the tendency to be the high achiever and the go-getter and the needing to do the most, I think that those things have benefited me in a lot of ways in my life and in my business, but I'm also smart enough and down the NLP somatic rabbit hole. I'm far enough down those rabbit holes to realize, like, oh, those are a trauma response. Those are a trauma response. Those are coping mechanisms. Those are protectors and things that I thought would keep me safe. And so operating from the high achiever 100% of the time is not ideal. And so if you relate to this, the high achiever in you might not love this, but did you know? Here's what I saw. If you improve by 1% every day, mathematically, that means you will be 37 times better in a year. That's really cool. So if we just focus on these little itty bitty shifts, improvements, and increments, focus on these little increments over these like big, insane things, you'll probably get where you want to go a lot faster. Why? Because it's sustainable, it's simple, it's doable, and those things are life-changing. And that is why I created our DKC version of momentum in the way that I did. I love this. Momentum builds motivation. So a lot of people wait to do the thing until they feel motivated. But what we know is motivation comes from taking action. So you're going to feel motivated as the momentum builds. And if you were listening at the beginning of the episode, which I hope that you were, because we're however many minutes in now, I'd shared with you, I was really vulnerable that at the beginning of the day today, I was not vibing. I was not vibing with the energy that I wanted to share with you. And so I got myself outside, got some fresh air, nourished my body with things that I know that make me feel really good. I recently learned that gluten makes me sad. I don't know that I actually have a gluten intolerance. I've taken different types of tests over the years, and those tests show that my body digests gluten fine. But I've noticed that if I eat gluten, it makes me not feel good. And so I didn't eat any gluten this morning. I was eating things that I know make me feel really well. And so it was doing all of these little micro actions that I knew would make me feel better. And I have to be honest with you, doing these micro actions when I wasn't feeling good was hard. I kind of had to force myself, but on the other side of them, I was like, oh my gosh, I started getting all of these amazing ideas. And then before I knew it, I couldn't wait. I literally could not wait to be here with you live and in real time. And so this is proof that taking action Intentionally focusing on building momentum is what gives you the motivation. It is not the other way around. The other thing that I wanted to share is I've had a handful of clients recently come to me wanting support specifically around anxiety. Anxiety in their personal life, in their professional life. There's scientific research that shows the more that we avoid something, the more anxiety we're going to experience. And the number one way to decrease anxiety is to take action or make a decision. So if that speaks to you, if you're experiencing anxiety in any area of your life, then you joining us inside of momentum or you creating your own momentum experience could be really incredibly helpful. I feel like dopamine is it's like a hot topic right now, but dopamine isn't just released when you achieve a goal. It's also released any and every time you make progress towards a goal. When we feel that dopamine hit, it encourages us to keep doing more of that. That's where the compound effect of these daily actions make a world of a difference. This is why checking off a to-do list feels really good. So this is one of the reasons why I have seen for dozens and dozens of women, momentum, the DKC version of momentum, be so life-changing. There are a few women in my world right now who message me, DM me on a regular basis. Several of these women are either inside of Energy Expansion Academy or we're working together one-on-one. And when they update me about the progress they're making personally and professionally, even a year later, a lot of these women did momentum this time last year. A lot of them attribute the success that they're experiencing now to their initial yes in momentum. And so the impact and the ripple effect is life-changing and very long-lasting. For someone to say a whole year later, and I'm looking back at my holy shift moment, and my holy shift moment was my yes to creating momentum for myself. I cannot believe how far I've come. I cannot believe how much I've created, how much has changed in just a year. So crazy. I love that. This feels like a really beautiful summary of all of this. The more we allow ourselves to get really clear about what we want and write it down and create space for that, it is 42% more likely that we'll be able to create that thing, which is why within the first few pages of our momentum workbook, I am giving you proven frameworks of how to get clear about what you want and what is going to make a difference for you. The power of micro actions, again, it's 1%. We're just focused on, can I get 1% better? Make 1% progress. Make 1% of a difference. And by the end of the year, you're experiencing 37 times the growth. This is what Harvard Business School and science things are showing. That's what I'm seeing here. Being able to actually visibly track your progress, which we build into momentum. There's an entire month-long tracker as well as daily trackers. That's what helps you tap into the dopamine loop. And then once you're tapped into that, you are naturally inclined to want to keep that going, right? When you think about just the simple act of momentum, it's like pushing the boulder up the hill is really hard, but once you get it up there and then it starts to roll down, you don't even have to think about it anymore. Like it takes on a life and an energy of its own. How good would it feel for you to get to a place where the things that you know you want to be doing, and I want to be really careful and I want to be mindful here because I don't use the term should very often. But I think that there's this fine line with the energy of should, where it's not like external pressure, but there are things you and I know that we should do. And if we do them, we will feel really good. We will be so glad we did them. I think that those shoulds deserve a little bit of time and space and attention, right? Can you imagine getting to a place where those things that you know you should be doing because you want to be doing them, because you want to feel good, and you know those things will make you feel good, when they become the easiest, most effortless things? Like, that is what we're all about. That is what we're here building together. The more progress you make, the more your motivation increases. And then the other big thing about this, it's like this beautiful momentum cycle. And this is really one of the things that we're all about inside of the realm of DKC. And we talk about at great length inside of Energy Expansion Academy. And it's why I've said yes to every certification and every tool is our identity begins to shift dramatically. You then become the woman who shows up for herself without question, who shows up unapologetically, who does what she knows she needs to do because she knows that she deserves the outcome, the feeling, the goodness, the benefits of that. You know, it's so fresh in my mind. And I think we talked about it a little bit on today's podcast. And as I was with the women inside of EEA, Energy Expansion Academy, before I even hit record on this podcast, it was so interesting because the recent health journey that I went on, I'm just someone who has a sweet tooth. My husband does not have a sweet tooth. He never has. And he's like the sweets police. And he likes to give me crap about like, oh, weren't there 3 cookies and now there's only 1? Like, who ate the other 2? And I'm like, you know what, bro, leave me alone. And I used to feel really bad about that. But this health program that I've been on, when we went all in with our 30-day gut reset at the end of last year, it literally rewired my taste buds. This reminds me of rewiring our identity. Like, who I knew myself to be with food and inside of my body, it was literally just gone. It was so new. It was so different. Those things didn't have a hold on me the way that they did before. And so that's a really beautiful example of rewriting and upgrading your identity to get to realize, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that there was a version of me who could do that, who lived in a world or had a business where these things are possible. And now it's just part of my reality. Every single time I've created a result like that inside of my life or inside of my business, it has come off of the coattails of a journey like momentum, where I decide, here's the thing that I'm going all in on. Let me create a plan. And if I can have a level of accountability and some extra tools to support me along the way, then chef's kiss, even better. So I'm really personally excited to do this, to continue on. You had my list of like the 4 or 5 things that I'm focused on. I'm really committed to those things. I, within my own heart, my own head, my own energy field, because I'm, a week or even 2 weeks into some of the things I'm focused on, I meet myself every day, fam, in the mental gymnastics and in the resistance, and get to hold myself and get to use all of the tools that I share with you inside of momentum. And I'm really excited, whatever you choose for yourself. Whether you choose to join us with our DKC March Momentum, you get instant access to the 4-week course. You get instant access to the 10-day visibility accelerator. If you're feeling inspired about the idea of showing your face and sharing your voice every day, you'll love that. If not, you have some extra tools and resources and journal prompts. If you choose to join us in that way, we'd love to have you. I will have the link for that in the show notes below. And also, if that is not your jam right now, if that's not speaking to you, then I really want to invite you into this question, the consideration of, what do you want for the month of March? What are you choosing for yourself? Maybe the theme of momentum isn't resonating for you right now. That's okay. You get to choose whatever it is that you're wanting, but for the love of everything, choose something. Choose to focus on literally anything that feels exciting and expansive and is going to get you closer to wherever it is that you want to be. I love you. I hope to go on this journey with you. As always, if you have questions, thoughts, ahas, insights, if the show notes aren't uploading on your end and you need the link, reach out to me on the social media platforms and I'll be so happy to get you set up with anything and everything you're needing. And I cannot wait to see you on the next one. I love you so much. Happy March, fam.